Okay, at this point we know how to use React. We discover the most important key points in the React framework, and now it's the time to create our front-end application using React. So I have my terminal open here. I will go to the desktop, and here we'll create a brand new application, and I will do that with npx create React app and the name of the application. My name of the application we will be building will be movie writer and then web. I will click OK, and we have our application created for us. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code and open that here. Ctrl O. And let's do a little bit of cleanup here. I will open a terminal as well, so we have that handy. And then what I can do is let's go and run the application. And meanwhile we can start cleaning up. And there's a few things that we won't use, so I can remove this asset. So logo, this is our React logo, so I can remove it from here. Also the test, we won't use it. I can go to the public and open index. And then I can change the title to movie writer, like that. I can close it here and close this. And then we have this one. We have some errors because we removed the assets that has been imported. So we can open up here, and then I will remove the logo, and also I will remove all of this, and then I can do like that. So we'll go here and we have our application running. So let's make a little bit space here and also here, and we can work a little bit on the styles as well. So I'll go up CSS. We don't need logo, and we don't need any of those. And actually I like the style as they have it here, but we don't need up and up header here. We don't use the up headers. I will just condense it to 1. If I will save it now, sometimes when we save the CSS, it's not going to trigger our build. But what we can do here is we can get rid of that header as well, and we'll have just one div with a normal h1 inside. So we have our styles here, and that's basically whatever it's coming from here. So I will leave it there. We will work on the styles sometime later on, but this is enough for now, and we'll have something to work with. So I can close this, and that's our app.js here. So what I will also need to do is inside our source, I can create a new folder, and I will do components here, and that will be a place for our components. So basically our application is ready. We kind of clean it up and everything is good to go. So in the next section we'll start to write our new application. Okay, so we have our application ready, and we can start coding elements that we'll need to have in the end product. So what we need to do first, we need to display a list of movies. So for that we'll need to have a component. I'll open here, and inside the components I will create our first file. So new file, and I can do movie list, app.js. So that's our new file. And what I can do here is first I need to import React from React, and that's going to be our component. And then what I can do is I can name it. I don't need to have a class-based component for this one because I would like to keep it movie list as a DOM component. That means there will be no logic here. I will just display a list of movies here, and all the information will provide to the parent. So what I can do is I can just simply do a function, and I can do movie list. And that's our function. And in here we can do return, and for now I can return a simply h2 like that, and then also we need to export it. So export, we can do default and movie list like that. So we have our component prepared. What we need to do in the app.js, we need to import that component. So import, that was default, so movie list from dot components, and inside we have our movie list. So we have movie list component here, and then we can display that somewhere on the page. If I save it now, we have list goes here. So everything is working fine so far. We have a placeholder now to create something with our list. So what we will need to do, basically this component will render a list. So we can create this layout here, and we can do map through the list of the movies, and then we can display that on page. So first what we can do is we can create a constant movies. We'll replace it with a dynamic one from API soon. Titanic, and let's say Avatar. So we have two movies here. So in order to have a list, we will need to do something like that. We've done that before, so we'll go movies and then map, and that's a function, so it will take movie as an argument, and then we can do arrow function here and do it like that. So what we need to do here is we need to do return, and then we can return, let's say h2 or h3, and then I will do movie. We need to wrap it in one single element. So what we can do is we can do React fragment. I will take it here and put it there. So we have a list of our movies here, and we have movie and movie. Now I need to wrap that in the curly braces, and you can see here we have Titanic and Avatar. So basically what we are doing here is we have a list of fixed movies here, and that's just a normal array with 2 entries, and then we loop through that, and for each movie we display h3 with a movie inside, and you can see it's here. So what we need to do here is we need to feed that list with a list of movies. So at the moment I have all these movies here, but I will take it from here and I will move it to our application like that. We have an error now because we refer movies there, but the movies are not available there. So what we will do is we actually pass movies from here, from the app.js, and this is where we load that list of movies, and we'll pass the list to the movie list component. So what I can do is I can do movies, and that will be equal to movies like this. So we will have a list of movies here, and then we'll pass it to our movie list. Once we have that, we need to also change this, because at the moment we don't have that as a movies, we have that as a props. So props movies, and you can see here error because we also need to provide props like that. So once I will save it, you can see the result is exactly the same. This time we don't depend on the local data, we loop through all the movies from the props. So if we'll provide a different list here, it will be passed as a movies here, and then it will be displayed just fine. So we have that done. What we will need to do, we will need to have one component will mount, and then we'll load a list of movies from API. To do that, I need to convert this function app to the class component. So what I can do is class app, and then I can do extends component. I need to also import component here. Like that, and as you remember, we need to wrap that in render. So we have function render, and we'll pass that return inside. So basically at this point everything is the same as it was, except it's not a function anymore, it's just a component, class-based component. This time we don't do it like that. But what I can do is I can name this as a normal movies. So this is property of the class, and then I can refer this movies like that. Okay, I will save it now. Everything is working as it was. We have our class-based component for an app. So once this is class-based component, what we can do is we can do component did mount, which is in the moment when the component mount, we can do something, and here we'll fetch data. So that's what we will do in the next video, and instead of having this static as we have now, we'll fetch the data from our backend API and we'll try to display that on the screen. Okay, let's try to fetch the data from our API. So to do that, we could do it in a few ways. Two popular methods will be Axios, which is popular library for React, or we can use the fetch that's built in JavaScript method to fetch the data from the API, and I will use that because we don't need to install anything to use this method. So basically what we need to do is we need to fetch, and that's a method, and then we can provide some things inside. So first argument that we need to pass is the URL. So what is the URL? A URL, as you remember from the Postman, this is our URL. So I'll copy that and I will go here and I will paste it like that. That's in quote, single or double, it doesn't really matter, and that's our fetch. So another argument here in that function is an object, and that object is options. So what we can put here, I just expanded here, and inside that curly braces I can put some data here. So basically I can say method for this fetch should be get, because we'd like to have a list of movies. Another thing I need to pass is headers. And headers is another object, and basically inside here we can provide the same kind of headers we use here. So as you remember headers here, we had that key authorization, so I can copy that and then I will do it authorization, and then value will be this one. So I can paste it like that. At the moment I have everything fixed. We will have a method to dynamically get that token for now, but for now I would like to have something to work with, so I will just copy from our previous section the token we had, and it will work, and then we'll replace with our dynamic version later on. So basically that's our fetch. We can pass other information here, and we will do that with a different example, but as for API movies that will be enough. So we have our fetch. function here, and then fetch is a promise-based API to get the data. The promise-based, that means we can do then. So when we have then we can expect some kind of response. So I will do a response, and then we'll do arrow function here, and what we can do is we can do console log and see what's actually in the response. So we have this response, and we'll just print this in response. What I can also do is I can do catch. Just if we'll have some errors, I will catch it, and then we'll have error, and in the same way I've done it arrow function, and I console log that error. Okay, so nothing complicated here. We have fetch, and then after that we have then, and then we expect response. Whatever we'll get back from this fetch will be response, and we'll console log it, and then we also catch, and we try to catch. If there will be any errors, we also console log it. So at this point we should see something in our console, and I will show you why this won't work and what we will need to do in order to make it work. So I will just make it here, and I will do console. And you can see here we have some problems now. So first thing, the first error is about the unique key. So what we need to do is inside our list, we'll just add quickly key here. So key, it will be, let's say, movie for now. So if I will save it, the first one is gone. So what is the second error about? Basically, you can see here, we are trying to get this API movies from our server, which is our Django API. But the problem is access control arrow origin. And this is CORS policy. CORS is cross-origin resource sharing. And that means by default, the browser policy is like that it's set up to only allow application from the same domain to be hosted to get the data from our API. So what does it mean? We are running here on localhost 3000, and our Django was running on the localhost with a different port, like this one, 127.0.0.1.8000. That means it's considered as two different domains and two separate domains. So that means we can see this error here because we haven't told Django which domains we should trust and which one we would like to share the data with. So basically what we need to do is in the next video we'll come back to our Django and we'll fix that problem, and you will be able to see that in our application. Okay, let's open our Django API here, and you can see here when the server is running, you can see also some logs here, and you can see unauthorized API movies from here. So there is a little bit of information here, and as I said, we will need to enable the CORS in our Django. How we can do that? Basically, the easiest way to do it will be using some external libraries, and we install them here and enable. So we can go to a website, Django CORS headers, and that's on GitHub. And that library will allow us to do the CORS inside our Django. So what we can do here is we can just pip install Django CORS headers. So let's do that now. I will go here, and in the terminal, my server is not running now. I will do pip install Django-CORS-headers. That's already done. So the next step what we need to do is we need to add CORS headers inside our installed apps in the settings. So we go here, and then we have installed apps, and then anywhere here we can put CORS headers like that, and then we have CORS headers. The next thing what we'll need to do is also we need to add a middleware. We already have that common middleware, so the only thing we will need to add is that CORS headers CORS middleware, and I will copy that, and going back to our settings, you can see our middleware here, we have that common, so I will add this CORS header here. And at this point we have everything to manage our CORS. So how we can do that? We can go go here, and there's two things we can do. First, we could copy all of that and paste it anywhere on the page like that, and set the course origin allow all to true. That means we'll open our API to any origin, to any domain that are available, and there will be no restrictions. I don't recommend this option because in that way it's less secure. So basically you are just open to everyone. It's not gonna protect you from different domains to get the data. So sometimes you might have an attack that will just create thousands of different requests, and your server will go down. So I don't think it's a good option. You can have it locally when you test it, but there is a very easy way we can restrict it, and that's course origin whitelist. So we'll copy that, and going back here, I'll just replace that allow all with this course origin whitelist. And what whitelist is, it's a list of different domains that we are telling that we trust. So in that case, our Django will share this data with our localhost 3000. Localhost 3000 is this localhost 3000 we have here. So once we have it here, there will be no problem for getting the data. You can add more here, like if you're using, for example, Angular, you can do localhost for 4200, and it will accept both of them. So I will keep it at the moment localhost 3000 like that, and I will save it. We need to run the server again. So let's come back here and let's refresh this page. So what is now here? We don't have that error, that's for first. So that's good to go. And then we print something here. And you can see here, if I will go back to our application, whenever we have response, we console log a response. And this is the effect of this console log. But we kind of expected something like that. So if I will do it here, we have array of objects and some data from our from our database. So why we don't see that here? And that's because the fetch is working like that. So basically it's just returning a response. If we'd like to see what's actually inside, what we need to do is we need to get that response and then run JSON method on it like that. So in this way, we get the response and we ask for the JSON. So what we can actually do is we can duplicate another then. So then means like it will run this and then it will return it, and then another will go. And then if something goes wrong in any of these steps, the catch will log the error. So basically this time we have response, but this one it will be already JSON. So if we log it here, console log, this time we'll go res. So we convert it to JSON, and then this will be already JSON. If we'll log it, you can see here that's array, and we have our data. So basically we managed to display the data, well, not to display, to get the data from our Django API, and that was our first call to our backend API. So this time what I will do is I will remove this movies and I can replace it with state, and I will do movies and then empty array. So at the moment we will have state with empty movies, and this time I will pass not this movies but this state movies. Okay, so this is what I passed to our list. If I will save it now, you can see it's empty. So what we need to do here, instead of console log, what we need to do is we do this set state, and then we will set an object, and we would like to do movies will be equal to res. So once we have that JSON, this object, we'll just set state movies, which is here at the beginning it's empty, and we'll set it to res, which is this JSON, as you can see here. So once I will save it here, and we have some errors, and the reason for this is if we go to list here, you can see we try to print the movie. Movie is not just a simple string anymore, this is an object, so we can't just access movie, we need to go movie, title, and in this case we go movie ID. So basically the key will be our ID, it will be unique, because if we go here, you can see ID 1, ID 2, each one will be different. And then we will have title to display it here. If I will save it now, everything is working as it was before, but this time it's coming from our API. So if I will change it in a database, it will be reflected here. So in this video, we managed to set up CORS that our API will work with our localhost 3000. But we need to also remember that whenever we put our application on some live server with a different domain, we also need to add that domain to our CORS. So we will need to do that as well. So we know how to manage the CORS in the Django. We also know how to fetch the data, how to convert it to JSON and set the JSON to our stage. And then we pass its stage to the movie list. Okay, we have our dynamic list already loaded from our API, so let's display more information about the movies. So what we will need to do is we'll create a new component, and I will name this component as movie-details.js. So I can close this, and we will do similar thing what we already have. So we import React. Also I will import component, and that's gonna be from React. So we have that. Then we'll need to create new class-based component. This time, because the movie list was just a normal function, but this time we would like to have a lot of functionality built in here. So I will do a class, so movie details extends component. We also need to make sure we have render. And then we return, let's say for now, we'll return movie details, like that. So we also need to export it, so export default. And then we'll export it here. So we have our component ready. Let's import it here. I will just duplicate it here. And then instead of movie list, I will do movie details. And that will be details, like that. So the component is imported. And then what we can do is we can display that here. And let's see what we have. So we have a list of movies from the movie list, and then movie details. What we can do at this point is we can create a new element here, and I will do div, and I will give it a class name of layout. I will put two of my components here, and what I would like to do is I would like to create two-column layout. So each of this component will be a separate column. I will have it on the left hand side list of movies, and on the right hand side this movie details. So what I can do is going to app CSS, I will collapse it here, and then we can do this layout. This is the class I just added to the div. And what we can do is we can do a few things. So first I can do display grid, and then I can do grid template columns, and I can do one FR. Basically FR, it's a free space, so that means if I will have two columns here and each of this will take one FR, that means they will take the equal space. And if I will save it now, You can see this is on the left hand side, and another one, well, actually we need to, something wrong here, because the movie list is just a component here, but if we go to the movie list, we don't have a wrapping element here. And then each of this element, it's a separate tag, so that means each of the movie goes to another column. This is not our goal, so we'll just convert it div like that. That means we'll have a wrapping element around it. So if I will save it now, you can see this is on the left hand side and this is on the right hand side. So we have two column layout. What I can also do is I can work a little bit on the styles here. I can do text align left, because we have text align center here. So if I will save it, it is text align goes to the left, and actually I can work a little bit on these styles here. So what we don't need this, but we can set margin to 0, and we can set padding to 50 pixels, for example. So if I will save it now, you can see we kind of spread it more around it. It's not a flex layout here anymore, so we have that. So we have a title here, and then one component for the list, and then movie details here. So what we need to do now is we actually need to display some details there. So I will go up.js here. So how we can display the details? So what I will need to do is I will need to pass a new prop to the movie details, and that will be movie. And this movie will be something that we will store in our state. So let's add new to state selected movie, and at the beginning it will be null. So not only will be passed, so I will have that selected movie, and I can use props to pass this state and then selected movie. So we pass movie into the movie details, so we can get this prop. I'll save it for now. There will be no change because we don't use it yet. So I'll go movie details here, and what I can do is I can use that props here. So first I will just wrap this around, because we'll display more information here. So instead of that movie detail, what we can do is we can check. So first I can check so this props movie. So if we have that movie, because you need to remember that the selected movie at the beginning is null, so when first time we will run this application, it will pass null to the movie. So what we need to do is we need to check it if we actually have a movie. If we have a movie, then we do something, otherwise let's not do anything. So I will just pass null. So what we will do here, we can do, let's say h3, and then we can do curly brackets, and we can access this props movie, and then title. I'll save it. We have some error. We also need to wrap this in a single element, so this time we can do React fragment like that. So the error is gone. We can save it. Well, normally if the selected, we don't have any errors here, and selected movie is not here because we don't select any movie yet. So what we need to do is we need to go to the movie list, and from movie list we need to pass an event that will go here, and then we will change the selected movie, and that selected movie will pass to this movie details and will display there. So at the moment we have everything prepared. So this is prepared to display the movies. If we will pass any movie here to the selected movie, then it will be displayed, the movie title, but now we need to work on the movie list and pass some information from that list to outside world. Okay, so the first thing that we will need to do is we need to go to the movie list, and inside movie list we need to enable that click. So whenever we click on the specific movie, then we will trigger a function. That function will trigger a props and we'll pass it there. So what we can do here is, first I will make it on another line here, so that will give us a little bit more space. So we have that on a new line, and then we can, at the moment we have that key, so I'll just make it even more here, like that. So we have a key and we need to do on click on this element. So on click, and then I will trigger a function, and this function will be movie clicked, like that. So I'll make it capital. So what we need to do is we are trying to pass some data. So we need to basically pass a movie there, like that. So we'll have a loop through the movie, and each of this element is a different movie. So once we have that available there, I can actually pass it to my function. So I have movie clicked and I will pass the movie. I need to do movie clicked, and that's gonna be our arrow function, and then we will get the event from it because that's a mouse click, like that. But if we would like to have a movie passed to it, we also need to have a movie like that. So we'll have two arrow functions. The first one will be movie and it will accept this data, and the other one is the event on click. So basically this is a function, so we have an error, so we also need to say this is a constant, so it will be treated as a variable, and we can assign this arrow function to a variable. So nothing really changed, and we have it like that. So what we need to do here is we need to do props, and then we'll need to trigger a function that is available for this here. At the moment we don't have it there. So what we can do is actually I will reuse the same name, which is movie clicked, and I can do movie clicked like that, and then I will pass movie to this function. So at the moment we don't have that on props movie click, so it would throw an error. So what we can actually do is we can create that. So I will go to our app.js here, and then we have movie list there. So we have an error, and then we will need to add it here. So I will add props movie clicked, and then from here we'll do this movie clicked, like that. So also we need to add this, let's say I will add it here. So movie clicked will get the movie, and that's going to be arrow function. This time we don't need to do that event anymore because we already extract that movie from there, and I will do console log movie and see what we can get there. So I will save it now. We still have some errors, property movie clicked of undefined. So if I go to our list now, we don't use this because this is functional component, it's not a class-based component, so we'll save it, and we have that. So I'm expecting if I will click on this, I will see that movie print there. So I'm clicking here and I can see Titanic. I clicking here and I can see Avatar, and this is coming from this console. So basically what we have so far is we have on click, this is on the list, we have on that H3, which is this one. So once we click it here on click, then we trigger that function here, movie clicked. We extract the event and the data, so we pass the movie here and we do a double arrow function, and then we do props movie clicked. Props, it's a parent element, and then we trigger movie clicked on this, on props. Movie clicked, this is the props we pass to this component, so this will be trigger, and this will run this function. This function is here, and we pass that movie, and then we console log it here. So it's kind of a long process, but it's what we did is we get the data from this list and we pass it outside. Once we have passed it outside, we can set our selected movie. So what we need to do is this set state, and then I will do selected movie. It's our movie because at this point we have it available here. So what will happen is we expect that if we click here, it will be displayed there. And in fact, we have it. And that's another one. So basically what we do is clicking on this, we pass a new movie, because that's what we pass to movie details is the movie, and this states selected movie. At this point, we can go to movie details, and we can also, on top of that, if I will duplicate it, I can do paragraph. Here I will need to wrap it inside a div, and then I can do description here. So if I will save it now, you can see the title and description is printed. So we've done a full loop from a one component. We've done the click, we put it outside into our app.js, we set some data here and then feed it back to another component. So that was a very good exercise how we can move the data in between two siblings component. So what we will do in the next movie is we will work on these details, and I will show you how we can actually display the rating for that movie. Okay, we have our title and description displayed for our movie, and let's do another thing and display a rating. So as you remember here, from this output we have number of ratings and then average rating. So our goal will be to show average rating, but I don't want to display just a simple number. We will do a proper stars. So how we can actually do a stars? I will use a FontAwesome. So we will go to this website here, and that's a very cool free library with different fonts. And I will show you how we can use this and how we can pick different fonts for our need. So first thing what we need to do is we'll need to install React FontAwesome. So I will stop the server here, Ctrl+C, and I will do npm install, or you can do I, just in shortcut, and then React -FontAwesome, like that. So FontAwesome, React-FontAwesome, npm install, and that will install. Meanwhile, what we will need to do is I will go to the start here, and we'll need to include that link. So I will copy that link here, and we need to go here, and inside our public folder we have index.html. In that index.html, anywhere on this page, you can see here anywhere inside that head, we can paste it. So I will paste it here, and you can see it's a long link here, but basically it's a link for the FontAwesome CSS. So once we'll have that, it will give us an option to display that font, and that's a free font. So I can close that index now, and I can go to the icons here, and we can select the free, and you can see here hundreds if not thousands are available as a free, and any of these we can use it. So we can pick, for example, this one, like allergies. You can see here the name is allergies, and let's use that as an example of working version of it. So we'll come back here, and then I will do here, this is already installed, so if I will go in the package.json, you can see React FontAwesome is installed and added to my package.json, so that's now available. So what I need to do is I need to import this FontAwesome, but I will do it in a little bit different way. We'll do var like that, and I will do require React FontAwesome. So basically I require FontAwesome and I assign it to this variable. Once I have that in the variable, I can display that here. So let's say I will put it in between the title and the description. I will do my first FontAwesome. So I have FontAwesome like that. I can close the tag here. What I need to provide is the name. So if we had that name allergies like that, so if I will save it now, I can, so I need to do npm start again, and then clicking on this, you can see that icon, the one we picked there, is available here and displayed. So basically now we have an option to use any of these icons that are available and display that on the screen. So what I can do is I can search for a star, and we have 266 results for 3 star. Not all of them are star, but some of them we might use it, and actually I will use this first one. So the name of it is star. If you click here, you can also see some other usage and how you can use it, and some snippets here. Anyway, what we need to do is we need to provide that star. So I will go FontAwesome name star. I will save it, and we should have that available. So I have 1 star. Our goal is to have 5 stars. So what I will do is I will copy that 5 times, and then we have our 5 stars. So what we need to do here is, based on this average rating, we need to set some colors on this. So what I will do is I will create new class, and I will do orange. And that's gonna be color orange. I can do it like that. So we have that class available for us, and I will apply this class for each star that met the criteria. So if I will go movie details here, what I can do is I can dynamically add class name. So I will do class name equal, and then I will do this curly brackets here. That means I can do some JavaScript here. So what I can do is I can access this props that movie, and then I can do average rating, and so I have that available. So I say if that's bigger than 0, then apply class orange, otherwise just put an empty. So what I'm saying here is I'm checking average rating. If it's bigger than 0, then apply orange class to it. So if I will save it now and clicking here, you can see this is orange because average rating for my movie Titanic is 2. So it is bigger than 0, then it's fine. So basically I need to do the same for the others, but before I'll do that, you can see how long this is starting to be, and then we repeat that props all over again. What we can do is we can create a constant, and let's call it move for short, and then I will assign this to this variable. So it will be available all the time for me, and then instead of having that long everywhere, I will just have move. And I can access that the same way as I've done before. So I have that. So basically this props movie I assign to this variable, and I can use it everywhere here. So it will make a little bit shorter. Also I can do it here. So move instead. And then, so I need to copy that. I will copy that here and I will paste it everywhere. But this time I need to change it like that. So basically this will reflect our rating. So Titanic is 2 because it is bigger than 0, then mark orange the first one. It is. If it's bigger than 1, then mark the second one, and it is. Actually it is 2. Is it bigger than 2? No, it's not. So this won't be marked, and so on. So this is how we've done it. If I will go avatar, there is 0 here because the avatar average rating is 0 because number of rating is also 0. So no one voted on avatar yet. Also what we can do here is we could display here. I will do curly brackets and then move number of ratings like that. So if I click it here, you can see we have 2 stars, and that number will give us in the parentheses here, this one means how many votes were casted on this movie. If I'll go here, you can see 0. So at this point we have kind of functional way to display the rating in our application, and for that we used a FontAwesome and a trick to apply the class name based on some properties on that movie. Okay, we have displayed all information we have about the movies so far. So let's create our first interaction and let's do some rating system. So once we have that movie loaded and all information, let's allow users actually to click some stars and rate it. I will leave it as it is here, and I will create a little bit new section here. I could put it in a separate component, but I will keep it in the same one, and because I would like to keep it as simple as possible, so I will create a new div here, and then I can give it a class name of rate container like that. So it doesn't really matter at this point, but it will help us styling some things later. So I will do h2 here and I will do rated, let's say like this. And then what we can do is we could possibly grab this entire 5 awesome here, and I will put we can put it here, but I will show you a different way this time. I will do it more programmatically way. So instead of repeating that over again, we'll do a loop. So I can do like that, and what I can do is on the array I can use the map function here, and then it will accept actually 2 arguments. So I will have event and index, and then I will do arrow function here, and then return something here, and I will return, let's say I will for now copy this FontAwesome like that. So what we have here is we have container, then we have some rated headings, and then we go look through the map. At the moment this is empty. What I could do is I could pass the numbers here, but I don't want to do it. I will do it this way. So I will spread array of 5. So basically what I'm saying here, this square brackets here, that means it's array, and I will fill it with the array of 5 inside, and I will spread it inside, and I will have 5 elements. Then I will go loop through this, and I will have element available here, and also index of that element. So if I will save it now and go here, I have rated, and these all are average rating, because at the moment is we have that if it's bigger than 0, and it is bigger than 0, then everything is like that. So basically what I would like to do is, instead of that average rating, we'll need to do some other things, and I will do it based on I will make a little bit more space so it will be easier to see, and I will do some events. So basically we would like to create a new class, and this time I will do, let's say, purple, and I will come here, then I can do purple and purple. If I will save it now, we have some, so each child we need to pass also a key, and the key will be, in our case, I. So we have this one, a purple. What we can do is also we can apply some styles to it once we are here. So I will do rate container. I can do border top, 2 pixels solid, and then I can do a purple. So it will make a little bit of distinction in between the previous section, and then I can do inside this I will do span. So what I'm doing here with this is I'm trying to get the FA, which is FontAwesome spam, and I will make it a little bit bigger. So font size, I'll do 2M, and also I will do cursor pointer, and that will give us a little bit of hint that we can actually click on this. If I'll go here, we have that border, and actually I made a mistake because it's supposed to be span FA, and then we have that big purple stars here. So this is ready to be used. Now we can go to the details here, and I will make it more space, and then we need to change the way this works. So I will need to track what is highlighted. So if I will hover over the stars, I would like to highlight it. So I would like to make it purple. So what I can do is inside here, I can do a state, and I can do highlighted, and I can do for a moment -1. So I have that highlighted here, and I can purple that based on the highlighted. So this is that state, and it will make sense a little bit in a second. So I will say if it's highlighted, then I will do I -1. I will explain it why I've done it this way. In the second ones we will do something with the highlighted. So what we will need to do here is I will put it here. We'll create a few events. So on, mouse enter, and I will do this highlight rate, and we'll pass something to this function, And then I will also do on mouse leave, and I will pass something here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating mouse enter and mouse leave events on our start. So whenever I hover it, that will be mouse enter. Whenever I leave it, it will be this one. And then we can change our state based on this value here. So what I will need to do is I will need to create a function like that, and we'll need to do two arrow functions here again. So I will do hi, which is a shortcut for highlight, and then event like that. So basically here I can do this set state, and I can do that highlighted. I will need to also do it in the object. So highlighted will be hi, like that. So we'll pass a hi into this function, and then we'll set the state of highlighted, which is at the beginning it's -1. So what we need to pass in our function on mouse enter, we'll just pass I, which is index. So for the very first one it will be 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it's similar way as we have it here. So in when we loop through that, the first one is the element, another is I, which is index, and index is just a index of the current loop element. So in this case, when we enter, we do highlight the trait I, and then when we leave, we'll do -1. So if I will save it now, let's come back to our application. I will do like that, and look how this works. So we have that in place, and whatever I highlight here, so basically what we have this state highlighted if it's I -1. At the moment is -1, so nothing is highlighted. So if I have highlighted 1, so if I will show you this like that. So if I have that highlighted one, I set my state highlighted to 1 at this point because I hover on the element first, and then I compare it the same way as we've done it here. It is bigger than 0, but this one we just do highlight it, then make it purple, and I have it for all of them. So if you have like this, it will work for first one and for the last one, and if we go outside, it will just make it and goes away, and nothing will be highlighted. So you can see we have a cursor, and this is cursor is pointer. That means it's showing the user that it's clickable, but at the moment we don't have any clicks on it. So what I will also need to do is I will need to do on click, and in the similar way we need to do it here. So on a click I will have a function that will be right clicked, and then we'll have stars, how many stars, and then we'll have event, and then the function here. So we have right click prepared for us, and then we can pass it inside our on click. So this right clicked, and then what we need to do is we need to pass that I, which is the current number in the loop, which is the index. So I will save it here, and basically here what we will try to do is we'll try to send the data to our API in a similar way as we've done it here. So basically I will just copy this, it will be just faster, and I will paste it there. I'll make a little bit of indentation. So we have that. So this time it's not API movies. And then what we need to do is here we need to pass an ID of the movie we would like to rate. And then we will have rate underscore movie. That was the URL we had. And in here we need to pass movie ID. What I can do is I can convert this to backticks, and I can include inside a variable like that. So basically the movies we have available that movie on the props, so I can do this props ID. So once we have that in the props, it will be passed to the URL. So we have movies and then ID and then /rate movie. This time we'd like to use method post. We still have that authorization, and then we'll also need to pass some extra thing in our objects, which is body. Body is an object. So what we will do is basically, if we go back here, and so we had that, and then in body we had these stars. So this is what we will need to pass, stars and then number of stars. So if I go here, I will need to pass stars and then number of stars, which is basically these stars. This is what we pass to our function. So this is the object, but I will need to JSON stringify it. So I will just need to convert that JSON into the string, and then I will pass it as a body. And then also here I will need to pass some extra information. Whatever we do a post, we need to make sure we have a proper content type. And our content type is /JSON, like that. So we need to do it for post and put. The get, it doesn't really matter, but this time we are saying, okay, we kind of having content type over JSON, so expect that. So we have application JSON content type like this. So this one we will convert back to the we can convert whatever is coming back also with the JSON, and then let's console log it what we have here. So console log, and then we have res. I think I have one more, and that's what we will do. So basically we have right click, whatever we click on the stars, we will pass this index, which is this I, but depends on the star that we'll click. So the first one will be 0 and so on. And then we need to pass that on click rate movie, and then we will do right click I. But actually we pass this as a I, but in our case that will be the first I will be 0, but in fact we would like to add it 1 to it. So when we pass it here, we can do stars plus 1, because we don't want to pass 0 as stars, we want to have it from 1 to 5, not from 0 to 4 as it will be with this loop. So we pass that stars here, we stringify it in the body, that will be passed to our post request, and then we'll send this. So let's test it now. I will go here into our application. So I will click this, I will just make it here and see what will happen if I click on this. I click in there and you can see rating created, and then we have results. So ID 6, stars 2, user 3, movie 1. So we actually create a new rating. If I will click here, I have rating updated. So we have that. At the moment we don't see anything, any result here, but if I will do Ctrl R, which is refresh the page, and if I will come here, you can see this rating has been changed. At the moment it's based on 2 users already, and in fact we managed to change our database. If I will go to the networks here, and if I will click it again, you can see I will need to make a little bit more space here. So you can see rate movie is sent. So what we are sending here is this object is sent to this URL. I will make it bigger. So this is the URL that we are sending, API movies/id. This is ID of our movie, and then rate movie. And this is post. And you can see here, content type, this is what we set, application JSON. And we pass as subbody this stars 3, because I click on 3. And then response is this one, or you can preview, and then you can expand it here. So this is working all fine. We can rate it. So at the moment, avatar, for example, has no ratings, and if I will make it 5, that's been sent, but we don't see any result here yet, because we don't do anything with that result yet. But if I will refresh it now and go to avatar, you can see 5 and 1. So this is working. That's our first successful changing data from our front end to our Django backend. Okay, so we have our rating system in place, so this is working, but at the moment we don't see any data here. And what we can do is basically we can ask for a new data from our server whenever we update a rating. So we can click rate, and then once this is ready, and we will see that in our function here. So right click, when this is ready, we have here, and the only thing what we do now is we console log the result. So what we can do at this point, we can have another function, get details. I will make it an arrow function. We won't pass any arguments there, like that. So we have a function get details here, and then we can actually call it here. So whenever we have that response here, we know what is the selected movie, because it's in the props here. So we don't need to pass anything here. What we need to do is we need to trigger that. So this get details, and I will trigger whatever we get some response here. Actually, we don't need to convert that to JSON, but I will leave it there as for reference. So basically, whenever we have success, then we'll do get details, and get details will be very much similar to what we have here. So I'll just copy and paste. So this time we will go movies, like that, and instead of rate movie, I will just keep it movies/id of the movie, and this time we'd like to have get. So I can leave it here, application JSON and token as it is. As I said before, we'll replace that with some other solution later on. So this time we don't pass anybody because it's a get. So we are expecting to have a result back, and then we do response JSON, and this time once we have that JSON, we can console log it here, just to make sure we have the data. So I will do that. Let's do inspect. I'll make it on the bottom, and then we have console. Okay, so I will save it again. We have some errors. So DOM exception failure to execute post message. Okay, I will refresh the application here. I will click on Titanic now, and now I will rate it. And I can see here, this is coming, the new 3.5 rating is based on this data here. So basically we fetch the data from API movies, and then if I will click it again, 1, I expect that 3.5 will be lower, and you can see 1.5, 5, 3.5. So basically that's working. That's an average from two different votes. So we have the data now here, and we console log it there. So what we can actually do is we need to feed that data from this component here up to the parent, and then from the parent we can do something about it, and then we can update it. Basically what we could do, because this props movie is available here, but the props is not mutable. That means we can't really change it. So what we need to do is we'll feed the parent with the new data, and then that parent will update this component. So as you can see here, we have movie clicked. That movie clicked is basically setting a selected movie here, and we pass it here. So this movie details is fed by this movie clicked. So we can reuse that function, and we can notify this from here, notify this component, and that component will trigger this, and it will go back to the movie details, and that will be updated. So let's do that now. What we need to do is we can now update movie. That's going to be our method inside the component. And what I will do here is I will trigger this function. I will make more space. It will be easier to write. So we will do this movie clicked. So this movie clicked, I have it like that. And then what we need to do is I will go here, and then what I will need to do, as you can see here, update movie, that's our trigger. So from here, whenever we have the data, we already have it in a JSON. So what I can do is this props and then update movie, and then what we can do is we can pass that res into there. So let's try it now. And I will do Titanic, I will do 5, and this is not working yet, so let's debug it now. So we have here, let's do console log movie. So let's rate it, and we have that logged. And it's actually working. So you can see I'm clicking on one, and this is a mark here. And if I click here, you can see this is updating. So I will go to avatar. There is a 1 rating, so it will be easier to see. I will just rate it like that, and you can see updated. And you can go here, and this is also updated. So basically, we have reused this function here, the movie clicked, because in here we already have that function is triggered whenever we click on this. So we take a movie from here and we feed it into this component. So this is already done. So basically, wherever we click from the movie list, we click on the movie, we will use that function. We can do load movie. That will be less confusion, and this will be load movie, and this will be load movie. So basically we load the movie wherever a movie will be clicked from the list, or movie details will update the movie, and then we'll load the movie here. And wherever we load the movie, we set the state to the selected one. So you can see we've done a very easy way to update the current existing movie. What I would like to do here is we have a lot of different repetition. So as I said before, we will take care of this later on once we have a login in place. But for now we have that long URL. What we can do is I can show you that there is a way that we can put things like this in an environment. An environment is a file that it's a special file that can be inside our main folder. So it will be here. I will just create new file .env like that, and then this file will contains information about our application. And what I can do is I can include API URL here, and for each build I may have different environments. So by default the one we are working in, it's an environment, but I can have environment production, environment development, environment test, staging, whatever I like, and each of this will contain a different data. So for example, if you have a local server like a Django we have here, on the port we have it here, that's our URL, but once we'll put this application on the production server, then this URL will change. And what we can actually do is we can control it with different environments file. At the moment I will have only one environment file, but later on if we put it on the production server, then we'll create another environment like production, and then it will have the same values, well, the same variables here that we'll use in our application, but this time they will be different because each file will have a different values for different environment. So what we need to do is we need to create a variable here, and there is a special way that we need to create it, and we need to start it with React app like this, all uppercase, and then we can name it whatever we like. So React app, and then let's say API URL like that, and that will be name of our variable. I will do equal, and then we can have our variable here. So what I can do is I will copy this thing here and I will place it here. So that's gonna be our API URL for now, and I will just save this file. That's fine with a plugin. So this time we can replace whatever we have here with this environment. And I will do, we have a backtick here and here. That means I can inject inside, I can inject a variable here, and I can do process env. And then we have that name, we store it. So React API URL like that. So basically this is coming from that environment file. If we'll have another one, then the different one will be used. So I can also replace this bit, and it will be reusable. That means every time I will do some calls to our API, I will have just one place to change it, not in many places. So that's very handy, and you can have more variables here. And if you would like to share something or have something like a global setup for your application based on the environment that your application will be running, this is the place to do. So we save this as it is. So I will save it. It's compiled. Let's see if everything's working as it is, and it does work. So we have we have some problem here. So let's see, this is working fine, but whenever we click here, and we have undefined here, and that's the reason we have, I will need to make it a little bit bigger. So we have localhost 3000 and undefined API. So basically local 3000 is not the one we would like to use for rate movie. We would like to use so this process environment React API URL looks like it's not working because it just starts with a slash. And I think the reason for this is every time we add something in environment, we need to stop the server and start it again. So I will stop it here and I will do npm start, because it will need to catch up new variables, the environment variables. Let's try it again, rate it, and you can see it's working again. So we don't have that error anymore. So what we did is we moved our code to that process environment, and now it is stored here. So it's one place where we will actually get the information from here. I could include more information like API movies here, and that's also available. Then you won't need to repeat it, but we also will have later on some calls to our out, which is not in the API. So we'll keep it like this. Okay. So our rating system and details is working fine. What we need to do next is we will need to have some kind of system for updating, removing, adding and deleting our movies. So we will do a classical CRUD. At the moment what we do is we have get here and we can see the data and then we can rate it. So I will add edit mode and delete mode, and also a create mode here. So what I will do is I will create it in this component, which is a list. So let's go to our list component here. I can close it here and I will open the list. So what I can do is I can add two icons here, and let's see, I can go actually to our details and I will copy the font icon and I will place it here. So I can do a div to wrap it around it like that. We also will need to have that FontAwesome imported, so I will import and put it on the top of this list like that. So we have FontAwesome, and then I can remove this class because we don't need it here, and this time it's not going to be star, it will be edit, and we can have another one, and that's going to be trash. So we open this and you can see edit and trash is here. At the moment they don't do anything here. We can add some clickable items and we can style it a little bit. Also this key here, there was an error in the console. This key needs to be on the parent element. So basically I will have it here because this is where we do a loop, and then a click will be on H3 tag. And we'll have something here. So first what we can do is we can do on click, and we can do the similar thing what we've done here. So I will just duplicate this and then I can say remove clicked. And I will place it. Remove click like this, and I will need to pass what movie has been removed. By the way, we have that arrow, double arrow function here, but you don't need to do it here. You could do it possibly here. So I could do arrow function here. So without any parameter, I will do arrow function here, and then effect of this will be removed, and then I can get rid of this. And that will be the same thing basically. So you have extra arrow function here or extra arrow function here. It doesn't really matter. So I will have it like that. So what we need to do in our function? In our function we need to actually send some request to our database to remove it. So I will just copy something like that. I will copy here, and then I will place it. So what we are saying here, we have our API URL, API movies, and then ID. That's not going to be a rate movie. We would like to use method delete here. This is all fine. We don't need to have a body because we are not sending in any information. And then there will be nothing in response really. So we don't convert anything to JSON. What we can do is once we have a response, we can do something about it. And in this case, we can notify the parent that it has been removed. So our parent is app.js. We'll send a notification there that has been removed, and then we will update the list. So we will do something like that. This is a similar way as we've done with our rating. So we don't handle this in here in that state because we feed that with the props, the list of movies. So we'll feed it back and then it will be updated. So what we can do is we can do this props movie, delete it, and then we need to also pass. Actually, this time we want to use this. Wherever we have /movies delete, we want to have the movie coming from this function. So that will be sent it here. If we click on this movie, this one will be removed. So it's coming from this time from this function, and also this one we can pass it here. so movie. Now we need to create that movie deleted on the props. So we go here, and from the movie list we can add another one. So we'll do it on another line, movie deleted, and then we can have this movie deleted. And then similar way as we've done here, I'll just duplicate it and movie deleted like that. So what we want to do here, we know which movie will be removed. So what we can do is we can filter out the current movies and find which one should be removed, and then update the movie's state. So let's create a new constant, and I will call it movie, and we'll create a new movie from an existing one. So I will do this state movies. I will make it movies as well, so it will be array of movies, and then this one we will filter. So in here we'll do movie, that's our function, and then we'll filter based on the ID. So what we want to do is we want to check it if this movie ID is equal to, actually we need to name it different way, so I will do it selected movie, because here we already have that movie in the function. So if this movie ID is equal to self movie ID, we'll just compare the ID. And actually we need to do not equal. We'll do not equal like that. So if it's not equal to this ID, then you will leave it. If it's equal, then you will remove it. So basically this filter, you need to, from this filter you need to return either false or true. If you include true, return true, then this movie will be kept in this array, otherwise it will be excluded. So we have this condition here and we check it. If that's the movie that we pass it here, then don't include it, and actually the result of this filter will be assigned to these movies here. So once we have that done, what we can do is this set state, and then we can do movies, and we will assign this new array to the movie. So we filter out the one that has been passed here and we fit it into the movies. Also, what we need to do is we need to do selected movie. If there is selected movie, we'll need to pass it, set it to null, because if you have selected movie and you remove it, you also need to remove it from here. So what we have here, we have movie radar. I can select, for example, this one, and then I will click on this trash icon, and I expect that it will be gone here. So what we can do is actually I can open networks here and clear it here, and we expecting a delete request sent to the server. So sending here, that's been sent, and we have headers here. So this delete, there is green, so I guess that has been removed. Not only is there, if I will refresh it, the movie is gone, but we haven't updated that for some reason. So let me take a look what we have. So we had movie list here, that's been done. Then we do movie deleted here, and I know what's going on is here. So basically we do this props movie deleted, but in fact this is a functional component, so we don't have this props, it's just props movie deleted. So once we'll have that in place, it will be okay. So let's do it again, and I have only one movie now. If I will click it on this and try to remove it, it's all gone. So the movies are gone now, and it is kind of working the way we expected. Actually, before the next movie, I will add them back in our API just to have something to work with, and then we'll do our form for updating and creating new movies. Okay, Movies are back. I reverted this from the database, and then we have this. So let's work a little bit on the styles here, just to make it looks a little bit better than what it is now. So we have movie list here, and then we have our div here. So what I can do is I can add a class name here, and that will be movie item. So we'll refer it as an item in the list. So we'll copy this class, and then I can add a new styling for this. So basically what I can do is I can display that as a grid, and then we can do grid template columns, and we decided on what columns we would like to have. So first will be one free space, and then we'll have auto and auto. That means we'll give everything to the first element on this grid, and then the rest of it will be auto. That means it will go to the very right. So if I will go here, you can see this is on the right hand side, and we have this on the left. At the moment there is some kind of weird styling. So if I will do here, there is a lot of margin here on the headings, and then those are flying to the right and top. So let's fix that now. So we go here, and then we can do movie item span. So we can do font size 1.5 em, and then we can do margin 16 pixels and 5 pixels. So if we have only two values, so that will be top and bottom, and that will be left and right. If I will do it now, you can see they're nice and big here, and they will stick to the right hand side of this. What we can also do, we can add a little bit of margin here. So I can go here, and then in our layout here, grid, what I can do is I can do grid gap, and I can add, let's say, 20 pixels. And there is a little bit of gap here. They are a little bit too big for me, so what I will do is I will go here and I will lower that 1.2 maybe, and that's much better. There is a little bit of also a styling that is here, so the margin is too big on the H3, and we can deal with that later on. At the moment it's kind of better looking than it was before. So we have this remove, and then we have that edit. At the moment when we click edit, nothing happened. So what else I will need to do here in the details, I will need to include that edit. So we'll kind of mimic or copy some of this. So when we click on the edit, what we want to have is edit clicked, and also we will pass the movie. So we have that remove. If I will just duplicate this line, and then I will have another for edit clicked, and we have that movie. So what we want to do with our edit, this time we are not gonna send anything here. What we would like to do is we would like to send something to props. So we will notify the parent that edit clicked, and then we pass the movie. So basically we are kind of doing similar thing as the movie clicked here. So we kind of need to follow this. So movie deleted, that was the one, and then we will try to do a new one. So the name we put it here was edit clicked. So edit clicked, and then we can do this edit clicked like that. So we need to create a new function. I'm doing a lot of copy just to save some time. So I copy and I replace it with my own content. So we have edit clicked, and now we will do something. So at the moment we know which one has been clicked, but we don't have anything yet. So what we need to do is we will need to prepare this application for having some kind of form, and we'll create a new component. So I will create new component here in the components, and we'll do movie form, which will be a form for updating and creating new movie. So what I will do for now is I will take this, all of it, I will copy, and then I will paste it in the form, and I will need to change few things here. So movie form, we don't need that one. So at the moment that will be empty, and I can remove all of the methods here for now. We'll add some later on, and then we will have rect component here, and then we can do h1 form, and then movie form, we will put it here. So I will save it now. We have a new component here. It's a bare bones, so nothing is inside. What we also need to do is we'll need to import a new one. So I will duplicate one line, movie form from movie form, like that. So we have that ready, and then we can include it in somewhere here. And let's say I would like to include it inside actually here, but I have my layout created for 2 columns now. So if I will put movie form like this, that's kind of break the layout for me. So what I would like to do is I will wrap the second one, the second and the third, in another div. That will create, this will wrap it as a second element, so the layout with a grid will work for this. So whatever will be here, it will be fitted. So I will save it now, and let's come back here, and you can see form is here. If I click here, I have this, and also form. So that's kind of working, but also what I would like to do is I will feed that form with some data. I can hide it and show it based on some conditions. So if I will click now on the edit, I will show it this, but not the other one. We can go here and we can have some conditions. And basically before we will go there, I will create this another state. So it will be edited movie, and at the beginning we will have null. So we create another state value and we can use it. So this state movie, edited movie, if it's null, then it will won't meet the first condition, so we'll have this. Otherwise we will have this. And what we need to do is inside we'll go movie details here, and then so I can remove this, and then if the other one we can actually, we don't need this parentheses here, and we'll have it like that. Actually this is not needed as well because this is just one element, so we have this one. So if the edited movie, actually we mix it up, so what I can do is if not edited movie, then show the details, if edited, then show the form. So if I will do it now, you can see the form is gone, and then this is working as it was before. So what we need to do now is we need to toggle this edited movie. So if we click on edit, then we'll do this set state, and then we have that edited movie, we will actually pass selected movie there. So it's not going to be null anymore. So I will save it. And so I'm clicking this one, and this is loaded. If I click on this one, I have form. This one actually don't reset it. So if I click on this one, we need to reset the edit mode. So edited mode, we need to do this. If I do click on movie, which is load movie here, selected movie, and also I will add edited movie to null. So this is what I'm doing, so I will toggle in between those. And also what I can do is I have that edited movie, and actually I can fit it into form as a props. So I will do movie, this state edited movie. So that movie, either null or movie that we selected, will be passed to that movie form, and we can actually use it in here. And we will create a form in the next video, and we'll reuse whatever will be passed here. So let's test it again. I will click on this, we will add it. I will click on this, we have this. So we can toggle in between this mode here. What I can also do once I'm here, I can go to our list here, and here outside this props I can create a button, and I can do add new. So what we can do here is on click, we'll do new movie like that, and then I can create here another function, so constant new movie. This time we're not going to pass anything here, so it will be an arrow function as well, but we're not going to pass anything there. And then what I can do is I can do props new movie like that, and then also I will need to include that new movie there as in the parent. So I will go here, and then I have here new movie, and that will be equal to this new movie. So we just pass it to the parent, and then we'll need to implement this. So I will just duplicate this, I will do new movie, we are not going to pass anything here. And then what we can do is we can set state and then edited movie. This time what we can do is we can create our empty object. So this will be title nothing, and then the description, because that's what is in our movies. We expect a title and description. So basically this time I'm passing an object with a title and a description that will be empty, and that's for a new movie. So let's save it now. And let's see if that works. So we have our button here, and I will pass it here, and then it's fitted in the form. This one also the same way, and this is toggle. So in the next video, we'll take this form and I will fit some data in, and we will see how we can actually update and create new records. Okay. We have our setup ready, we have a new component ready for us to use, so whenever we click on either this button here or a new button here, the new component will be loaded in that place. So what we will do in this video, we will create that form. So I will go to our source code, and we have a new component here, movie form, and at the moment we display just a simple form. What I will do instead is I will display input fields for both title and description. So let's do that now. I will do title, and then I will do input. Actually, I can write that title in a span. And this input will be type of text. I need to close it like this. And also I can duplicate this. Well, I don't need another fragment. So I will have description. And now this one will be text area. So I would like to have the bigger one for this. So here we will need to also have a button, and then let's do save for now. So this is a basic setup now. I can save it, and so this should be description, and description like that, and we can go here, and I click here, so we have title, and then we have description. So I will do a little bit of cleanup here. I will do after each of this, I will break it, so it will go to another line, and I will do the same with description. So it will go on another line here, and clicking here we have title and then description. It's kind of still weird looking, but we'll take care of it later on. So for now we'll just start 2 more breaks here, just to put it on a separate line each. So it will kind of, for us, give us that kind of layout, and then we'll style it later on. So what I will have here is I will have a simple text here, and then I will have area, so something for a longer text, then I can actually expand it here, and whenever I click this, I will either create a new video, a movie, or I will edit. So if I will click this, then I will open this and I will feed it with some data, and that will act as an update, and then other one will act as a new. So also what we need to do is we need to have another button. I will duplicate it and I will do cancel. So cancel will just send a event to the parent that we would like to cancel that and close this edit mode. So what I can do is I can do one click here, cancel. I need to do this cancel, clicked, and we can put it here. So cancel clicked, it will be an our function, we don't need to pass any arguments there, and I can do this props cancel form, like that. So we need to create that on the parent. We'll go here and you can see movie form is here, so we need to do this cancel form, and then we can do this cancel form. And basically what the cancel form is, I will just duplicate this. So cancel form will set state edited movie to null, like that. So let's save it now and come back here. So if I will click this, that's what I see. If I cancel, it's gone. If I click here, when I cancel, it's gone. Because we set up a form here, so edited movie is fed here. So when there is no edited movie here, we display movie details if available. And then if not, then we do this form control. So we have that movie that we pass it, so it might be null and then it's not display, but it is available, then we pass it here. So the movie form actually accept this argument of movie, so this will be available in our props. So what I can do is I can actually put it here. So if I will go title and then input text, I can do value will be equal to this dot props dot movie, and the same here for our description. So what I have now is, if I go here, if I click edit, you can see this props type. You provide a value prop to a form without an onChange handler. So we also need to include that. So on each of this, we need to do onChange, like that. And I can do this input changed. And I can also do that for the other one. And we need to include that here. So for now I will just do changed. So let's come back here. I will click it here, and then we don't have that error, but we still have some problems. And when you click on this, we try to display the object. So let's see what will actually happen. So this props movie, in fact, this is right, because this props movie that title. You probably screamed at me when you saw me typing that. So this was movie and then the description like that. So once we'll have that in place, if I click here, I have Titanic and description. If I click here, I have that filled in. If I click new, everything is empty, because with the new, what we do here is if I click on the new movie, I set the title and description to empty. So that's what it is passed to our form control. So coming back here, this is what we have. Whenever we change something here, we should see a change event. So I will go here and let's change here. You can see change and also this change. This is not changing yet, because what we need to do is we need to save it in our kind of hold it in our component and then do something about it. And then we will have two choices. We will either save it as a new one, or we will update it with the existing one based on this condition. So what actually we can do is I will also prepare this. So on click, and I will do this, save clicked, like that. So I will also need to have a function for this. So save. So this is already prepared for everything, and in the next video we'll work on the functionality here. Okay, so we have our form already and everything is prepared. Let's in this video work with the data we have and try to handle some changes. So we have a few functions here, and then I will make them work. So first thing what we need to do is we will do something with input change. At the moment we don't do anything, we just output the value here. First, what I want to do is I will create a state, edited movie, and then we'll do this props and then movie. So basically this props movie, this is what we send to this component, and I will save it in the state. The reason for this, I would like to keep it in the state, is when we change something in the input change, we don't want to change the props for this movie, because we actually can't do that, because the props are immutable. So we need to handle that on the state. And for second, we also would like to keep it a separate object for editing this. Otherwise, if that will be an object, the same one, we will alter the original object before we actually click the save. So we'll have this state here, edited movie, and what we can do here is we can actually change this. So let's create a local variable movie, and we will do this state here. So basically I create another variable here from the state, and then what I can do is I can do movie, and we'll have an access to to event, and I will need to include that event because this will be passed, the input change will be passed with the event. So what I can do here is I can do event target, that's name, and to have that available, what I will need to do is I will need to add name here. So I will do name title, and I will add the same for a text area here, and I will do description here. So I'm adding name to both that inputs, and that will be available in the event target name. So that means at the moment we have title and description in the object, so that will refer to that fields. And then what we can do is we can do event target that value. So the value will be passed with the event target. Also the name will fly with this one. So we have one handle that will do input change. Actually, I can put it on another line so it will be easier to see. So like that. So we have one on change for both inputs, and then in here I distinguish in between the event target name. So if the input name is title, it will do movie title, and then with the value, and then if this a description, it will go description. So if we have already this movie, what we can do is we can do this set state, and we'll just fit it with the new object. So our edited movie will be our movie, like that. So at this point we have that edited movie. Whatever we change in the inputs, it will be stored there. So let's actually do a quick test. So I can do this state edited movie, and whenever I click save, it will be, I should see some data. So I will do test some, and I will do save, and you can see test and some is here. So I have an object save whatever from the inputs here. So that's good to go. And then we will have another few things to do. So first, what I would like to do is we need to distinguish in between the save and edit. At the moment we have only one function, but what I can do is I can do movie. Well, I can do if this props movie ID, that means it's edited. So that means we already have that in our place. So if the ID if the movie contains ID, that means it's a movie from our database, because we'll pass the whole object here. So we have this movie form, we pass it movie here, and then it edited movie. So if I click here, that will go, the entire object will go to that form and will have that ID. If I click here new, there is no ID, because with the new we just pass title and description, so there is nothing there. So what I can do in fact is I can check if the movie has ID, then we can do this. Otherwise we can do another option. So we'll have two buttons. One will be save clicked, and that's going to be if it has ID. So what I can do is actually I can do update clicked, and then I can name it update here. So we'll have one function update for existing one with the ID, and another one will be save for the new movie. So I have this, I will duplicate it here, and then I will do update. So we have two different functions to handle if it's a new movie or a already existing edit movie. So now we have everything, almost everything in place, and we have that available for us. So what we need to do is we need to send a request to our API, and I will just copy whatever we have for our right click. So this will be very similar to what we had here. So we'll just copy that, and I will put it here. So first we'll do the save click. So that will be our API URL, API movies, and this for the save new movie we don't need to pass anything like this. So API movie, and that will be the post. We need to also include this, and this time will JSON stringify this state edited movie. So this is what it's coming from. I will put it here. This is what is coming from our inputs, and then I will stringify. I will convert it to JSON, and then I will have that available here. So what I can do here is I can notify the, actually I will have the, I will need to have the address, and what I can do is I can notify the parent that I have a new movie. So this props new movie, like that. And then we can pass that res into new movie. So what I will need to do is I will save it here, and I will go here, and wherever we have that movie form, I will add another props here, and I will call it new movie, and then I can use the same name for our function. So this new movie, like that. And also I will need to create new movie. Actually this new movie already exists, so what we can do is add movie. I will name it add movie here, a new movie is fitting new movie into the form. So maybe I should pick some better names for the function, but I will keep it as it is. So anyway, add movie, that's the one that will be triggered, and we'll have an access to our movie here. I don't need that parenthesis. So what I will need to do is we have list of our movies here in the state. So I can just add another movie into state. So what I can do is this set state, and what we would like to set is movies, like that. And what we can do is we actually need to have a current movie, so I can spread the current movies, this state movies, like that. And also I can add extra movie into it. So if I will save it here, I should see some new movie created in our application. So let's do here, and I will do test, and I will do something. And if I will save it here, you can see test, it's there. So if I will refresh my entire application, I'm refreshing, I have that test here. If I will click it here, you can see test and something here. If I will rate it, everything's working fine. So I just created my new movie, and this is how we can handle new movies in our database. So similar thing what we've done with the new movies, we'll do with our update existing movie. So I will go movie form here. We have save clicked here. What I can do is I can get this and I can replace with this one. So this time we'll have movies, but we also need to have ID of that movie. We know that when update is clicked, we have that this props movie ID available for us. So what I can do is I can actually include it in the URL. So I will do like that, and then /addend, and in here I will include this props movie ID. So we'll use method put on our API movies ID of the movie. The token and application JSON stays will this time we also do edited movie, so we'll send the same information here, and then we convert it to JSON response, and then this time we are not going to do a new movie, but we'll do edited movie. And I will need to also create that props on our movie form. So I will do edited movie, and then I will do, this time I don't need to create a new function because we already have that load movie function. So if I will reuse this, and the load function, as you can see here, load function is set the state for selected movie, this movie, edited movie. So if I will save it now, I can go here, and then if I will do test, and I will do test2, there's something here, and then if I will do update, you can see test here is here, and then we load it. So basically we updated that on a go. If I will refresh it here, you can see test2 is here, and I can see here, if I will click this, I see some information about this. So a new movie is working, edit is working, remove is working, and everything looks fine. Another thing is what I would like to do is you can see if that's empty here, and if I will click save, I have some errors, and it's actually put that error inside our component, and this is a bad thing because it wasn't really created, but we haven't prevented this from happening. So what we need to do is we can go here and we can validate some fields. So what I can do is I can validate that here, and then I can create a new constant, and I said is validated or is disabled, and then I can check if this state edited movie title length is equal to 0, or, and we can have this one, but this time we'll do the description. So basically what I can put it on another line, So basically what we are doing here, I can actually make it triple one. So what we are doing here is we assign a new variable is disable when length of the title is 0 or length of description is 0. So if one of those is 0, then we'll have is disabled. So what I can do is I can actually disable the buttons here. And I will do, we have two buttons, save clicked, and we have another button here. I will put it on another line. So this is update and this is save. So what I can do is I can do disabled equal to this variable. So I will copy that and I will paste it here. So now we disable both of the buttons if one of the fields is actually empty. So I will come back here. So we'll go here, you can see this is disabled. If I will type in something here, it's still disabled because description is empty. So if I will do here, then it's ready. So we kind of validate that to not send any empty results here, and then it will be accepted in our API. So this is how everything works now. We have kind of semi-functional application here. What we'll need to also do is we need to style it a little bit, and we will do that in the next video. And also we'll need to do register and login page, and we'll focus on that later on. Okay, we are in this point when our application is functional, so let's style it a little bit because at the moment it doesn't look really too great. So what I can do is I can work a little bit on the styles here. So I have app CSS open here, and what I can do is I can clean something up. So I will do this. And then also I will need to do like we have this you see kind of scrolling, despite the fact we don't have that much content. This is because we have done 100 vertical height, but we don't actually have 100 because we also have a padding. So what we need to do is we need to calculate 100 minus twice the padding, which is 100 pixels from top and bottom, and then we'll have it like that. So the application will look like this and we don't scroll anymore. So it's kind of already looking a little bit better. So what else we need to have? We have some styles here. What I will do is I will also style the button. So that will target all the buttons we have in our system, and we will style it a little bit to not have that generic button but our own. And it's up to you how you will style it, but I will just pick some styling here, and then you can do your own styling on your own colors. So we will do color. Let's say I will do 444 like that, and then background color I can do F3, F3, F3 like that. So if I will save it here, we have that. Actually this is not trigger sometimes when we work with the CSS, so we will trigger that later on. I will just style the whole of it and show you how it looks like after. So padding, we'll do 5 pixels and 10 pixels. Border radius, we'll do 2 pixels. And it's already reflecting. We'll do font weight bold. We'll do font size 0.08 em, and then we can do outline none. So it won't have that whenever we clicked this around this. So we have this looking a little already much better. What we can also do is we can style a button that will be disabled like that. And then what we can do is I will pick this and I will revert the colors. So for this I will just get it here, and this one I will put it 4444 like it was. So I kind of revert the colors here. So if you can see, if I will click new, if I'm not really sure I saved it, so something's not triggering this properly. Anyway, I kind of revert the color, so we'll see that in a second. And also what we can do is cursor, and I can do not allowed cursor, so it's not going to be allowed on our page. And this button should be actually disabled, so if I will refresh it, you can see this is disabled and we have that cursor. We can put a little bit of the spacing here, so if I will do form, I can do in between the two buttons, I can do no breaking space paragraph, and it will create a little bit of the spacing in between those two buttons. But you can do your own styling if you like, or do some padding or margin. So coming back here, we have app CSS. So what else we need to style? We'll need to style the input. So I'll do input, and also I will do text area like that, and we can target both of them in the same selector. So I will do width 100%, padding 10 pixels, margin 8 pixels, and 0 on the left and right, and 8 and on top and bottom. Font size, I can do 0.8 em. So what I can do, I can type in something here and something here, and it's already look much better than it was. And then we have styling for these buttons. Also, what we can do is we can target this H2. So I will do H2 here. I can do margin 0 and font size 2 ems, like that. So if I will save it, this should be aligned more with this one. What we can also do is we have that trash here, so I can do FA, so class FA trash. We can do color crimson, like that, so it will be that red, so that will kind of notify this is kind of removing this. We should have some kind of validation, or are you sure you want to remove it? But that's outside of the scope, it's optional here. So we have that. And what else I would like to do? I would like to style this movie writer, the title, a little bit, and I will show you how we can actually create a little bit of logo with our pure HTML and CSS. So what I will do is I will create, I will go to our app.js here. And here we have movie rated. So what I can do is I can wrap that in the span, this movie rated here, like that. And on top of this, I will create a new icon, and we can just get the icons from here. So we'll have that. Something like this, and I will put it inside here. So in the H1 I will have font icon, we need to import it as well. We'll have a span which is title, and that's end of our H1. This will be film, and then I can remove this because we don't need it. That will be for visual purpose only. So we need to come here and we'll import the FontAwesome and include it on the top of the page here, like that. So the FontAwesome is there, and it will be so in our H1 tag we'll have the film icon and we'll have movie rater, and I will show you how it looks like now. So we have that kind of icon here, and we can actually style it a little bit better to look like a little bit like a logo. So I will collapse it here, and let's go to the app CSS and write some styles about this. So H1 could be color orange, and let's say font size 3em, so nice and big, and you can see this is big. Then what we can do is we can do H1 span FA, which is the FontAwesome span, and then we can do color white, and then we can do transform, rotate, and then we can say 25 degrees, for example. So if I will save it now, you can see this is white and rotate it a little bit, and then you can see it's looking like a little bit like our logo. I can actually rotate it a little bit more, maybe 30 degrees. And I can see here, this looks like a little bit like a logo. We haven't done much here, it's just a normal title and then a FontAwesome. But this composition kind of, I would try to show you how it might look like when we will play with the CSS styles and some icons. So feel free to exchange it with your own logo. That will be much better than what we've done here. But like this is nice to know that things like this are possible. So our application at this point is very functional. We have that styling a little bit better. So we have different things here and there, and we can see the list of movies. We can see the details about this movie. We can rate it. We can edit any of the movie. We can create a new one, and we can remove them. So that's all done. What we need to add in our application is authentication. So login users and register user, and replace all that static codes we had here. So this one, authorization token, and we need to replace it with our own dynamic one. Okay, our application is functional at this point, but as I said in the previous video, we need to have some kind of login and registration here. So what we will do is we'll introduce our routing. So we will have a different routes for different parts of our application, and that route will be only available for login user. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to create another component, and that will be for login, and then we'll also do a routing. So I'll go to our code, I'll make it full screen, and what I can do is I can prepare a new component. I will do login.js, and what I can do here is just I will import React from React, also I will import component here, and then we can do So I'm just preparing this component as we already have done a few times. So we have our bare component here. Nothing is there except the fact that we actually render H1 login. So at this point we have that available for us. So let's go to our index.js, and that's index in the main folder here. So at this point we render everything into our root, and that's our application. So that's our main component application here, and we have everything as you can see here. That's our app, so main application. What we want to do is, instead of having that here, what I would like to do is I would like to have a routing, and then we will decide which roads are going there. So before I will add routing here, I will also need to install that. So I will do Ctrl+C, and I will do npm install react router DOM. Also I will do npm install react cookie. like that. And I will be talking more about cookie. For now I will just install it here because we'll need it later on, and then once we'll have it, we'll come back to this when we need it. Okay, all done. npm start. And application will break because it won't break because this is I was expecting this will make an error. In fact, there is no error. So let's do our routing first. So I will import route. We've done it before, and then I will do const, so it will be our variable like that, and I will do browser router here. Inside I will include single div, and here we can have a route. So we'll do exact, and then we'll do path like that, and then we'll use component login, and if I will duplicate it here, the next one will be movies, and I will use component app in our case. So at the moment we have everything in app, and I will move it to this URL, and the URL with just a normal localhost 3000 or whatever domain we'll have without any extension on the URL here will be our login. So we have this. We need to import login first. So import login from, and then we need to go to from the current folder to components to login here, and then we have it available. And then instead of rendering the app, I will render our routing. So that's compiled. You can see we have our login here. If I go here and do /movies, we have the movies. So we have a basic navigation already set up, so we can toggle in between those. So we have that, and then let's do a little bit things in our login to make it looks and work in the way we want to have it. So in the next video we will create our login component. Okay, let's work a little bit on this login page. So first thing first, what we'll need to do is we'll need to store some credentials. So I will do store, and I will name it credentials. And that's going to be an object, and that object will have a username, and I will set it to nothing, to empty string, and then password, and also empty string. So I will have that credentials available for me to use in the store in that component. Next thing, what we'll need to do is we'll need to have some kind of inputs, and what I can do to speed things up, I can go to movie form here, and I have this input there, so I can just grab this, and I will go to login. Let's use div here, and then what I can do is I can put it here, and then I will just change a few things here. I will do like that. So we'll have username here, and then it will be type text, and this will be username, and then this actually state, and then I can do credentials, and then our username. So basically I'm doing the same thing as I've done before, and we'll change it here. So we have it password, and this password, this one will be password title. password, and then value will be so it will be like that, and then password here, and then input change. Also I will import that input change as we had it here. So we had input change, and I will put it in the login here. So we have this instead of this edited movie. What we have is we have this state credentials like that, and then that will be credentials. So I will just change it event target value, and then will be credentials. So basically we are doing a similar thing as we've done before. This is our credentials, and we'll just change it here. So I will save it, and let's go here, and I have some problems. Credentials of null cannot read property credentials of null. So let's see what's happening here. Actually, this is not a store, it's a state. I made a mistake here. And then you can see username and password here. So what we can also do is we can include some kind of title here, login, and then also a button. Actually, you can get a button from here also, because we will do similar thing as we've done before. So on click, and then we'll have login. We'll name this as login as well. And then we need to create a login. And what we can do is let's print it here. So we have our login here, we have username and password. So if I will do anything here and password anything here, I will click login, and you can see this is actually stored. So I have my values here, and then I have a button to do something. So what I can also do is I will apply a little bit of styles here. So let's say I will do class name, login container, and what I can do is in app CSS I can add it here. So what I can do is I can do width 50%, and then I can do margin, let's say top and bottom 50 pixels, and then 25% for left and right. So I'll have 25 on the left hand side, 25 on the right hand side, and 50 for the content, and then from top and bottom I will do 50 pixels. So if I will go here, you can see it's kind of central aligned here, and we have that in place. Okay, so what we need to do to have that login functionality built in, we have that state credentials here, and what we need to do is we need to include, we need to send some information to our server, and basically I will just grab one of the example we had it here, like the put here, and I will copy this, and then I will go to login, and basically we would like to use it here. So this time we are not going to use API movies. Our URL was out, and we don't need any of this in our case. So our URL is the base URL and then /out. And what we need to do is we need to do post method there. And in fact, we don't need to have that token there, because at this point we don't have that token. So we'll do just application, content application JSON. I can put it in one line, so we'll have more space. And then what we do is this state credentials, as we have it here, we'll stringify it here. So we will just send the credentials coming from our form, and we'll pass it to this post out. So basically we need to username and password, and that's what we will do. And then we will get the response, we'll convert it to JSON, and then we can do something with this response here. And I will make more space here and do console log, the console log, and then we can do response here. So we will see what's actually coming from there. I will go here, do some random credentials. So basically what we have here is we have some errors. So non-filled errors, unable to log in with provided credentials, and that was expected because we actually don't have that credentials in our system. So that was fine. And in fact, if you'd like to, I think the good design, you will grab this information. As you can see, this information is available written here, so we can grab this from the error and display somewhere on the page. I'm not going to do it here, but this is completely available because this is already available in our error, this message. So what I can do now, if I will do credentials that we had before, I will log in, and you can see this is my token. So in response, I got my token returned like this, and that's fine. So I can actually save that token and use it. So the format for this token is token and then whatever it's here. So what I will need to do is I will need to store that token somehow. So this will be res token like that. And that token, I will store it in the cookies. I already showed you on the previous video that I installed the React cookies. So in the next video, I will show you how we can actually store that token and how we can reuse that token in other components to make it work. So basically what we want to have is, once we'll have that token, we'll save it in the cookies, and then we'll do Windows, window, location, and then we can do href, and we can go to movies. So once we have that in place, then we will move it to movies. So if I will do here, and I'm in the movies. So what we need to also have here is we need to restrict it. If you don't have that token, then you will be kicked out to the previous page, because otherwise people don't need to log in. They can just type in URL movies and they will be able to access this application. So we need to make sure they have a valid token here, and once they will have it, they can stay on this page. If not, they will come back here. So we have that. In the next video, I will show you how we can actually use that token and store it in the cookies. Okay, let's use our cookies to store our token in the cookies and use it in our application. So before we'll do that, we'll need to wrap our entire application with a cookie provider. So I will go to our index here, and I need to import cookies provider, and then that's going to be from React cookie, like that. So we have a cookie provider, and cookie provider, it's a kind of wrapper that we need to wrap our components around. So basically we need to have our cookies in both login and in application. That's why I have that provider here, and we can replace this thing with our cookie provider. So what we are saying here is whatever it's inside the stack will have that option to use that cookies. So that's enough what we need to do it here. Nothing will change at this point because we still don't use the cookies. So what I can do now is I can go to our login here, and I will need to import with cookies from React cookie. And what is that? Basically, functions like this with cookie, we can wrap something around it. So that means we are trying to say this login should be with cookies. So what we can do is we can export default login, and before I will export it, I will do with cookies login. What does it mean? That means in the login we'll have cookies enabled. So if we have that wrapper around the login, that means the login will have something in props provided with this plugin that we have here. So once we have that here, what I can do is I can actually use it here. So I can do this props, and then I can do cookies, and then I will do set, and I can set a cookie here. So what I can do is I can do movie rater token. I can name it whatever I like. You can name it just a token, or you can have something specific. It doesn't really matter because the cookies are only for one specific domain, so it's not gonna interfere with other tokens. I will call it Mr. Token. That's kind of funny name. So we will set this, and then a second argument is actually a value. This is the name for the cookie, and this is a value. So if I will take this REST token, this is what is coming from our authentication, then I will set it here in the cookie. So I will save it now. So let's come back to our application, and what I will do is I will go here and I will open application, and you can see here on the storage you have cookies, and then you have your current domain. So if you click on this, you will see all the cookies available for you, and then you can remove it and do some things. So basically you can have a look what's actually what cookies do you have. I will do Christian, and then I will log in, and you can see here I've been moved to this component because I've done redirect Windows location href, and this is Mr. Token. This is what I've set, and this is my value. So I have that available already in the cookie. As you can see here, I could clear it and it's gone, but this is available. So what I need to do is I will need to go to our another component, and I will need to do similar thing there. So I will just save it here, and I will go app.js, and I will also import this with cookies, and I will wrap our component here as well, because this time we're not gonna use set cookies, but we'll use get cookies. So basically, when the component did mount, what we need to do is we will try to get that cookies from the cookies. So that token from the cookies. So what I will do is I will try to set it in the state. So I will have a token here, because this will be something reusable for our application. Wherever we have this, we also want to have it access to this, and I will pass it to other component with props. So I will try to keep this here in the state. So I can do this props cookies, and then I can do get, and then I will need to use the same name as I use when I set it. So Mr. Token is here. So I'm trying to set the state of this token to something that is coming from our cookies. I will save it here, and what I can do here is I can actually check it. So if this state token, then we can do something else. What we can do is we can do window location href, and we'll redirect to login, and login is our this URL. So if we have that token, so that means we are logged in, Then we can fetch the information from about our movies, and this time we can have replace this token. So we'll do a backticks here, and then $sign and curly brackets here to inject the variable, and then I can do this token like that. So basically I replace it with dynamic version from our props cookies, and then we'll get this value, we'll assign it to the state. Once it is there, we'll check when component.mount will check if we have that token here. If we don't have it, then we go back to the login. If we have it, then we'll fetch the movies with that token from the cookies. So if I will save it now, you can see here we still have a list of movies. So basically this time we are using this token from the cookies, and this is fine. So if I will go here and I will do application, and I will remove this cookie here, and I will remove it like that, nothing is there. So I will refresh this page with the movies, and I should expect I will be kicked out to login. I will refresh it, and you can see for a second you saw a little bit of content and you are kicked out to login because the cookie is not there anymore. So that's good. And then what we need to do is we need to also change the other options. What we also need to do is we need to pass this token to down the our component. So in our case we have few components. We have movie list, we have movie details, and we have movie form, and all of them use some kind of fetching from our library. So I'll need to include that token everywhere. So I will do token, and our token will be this state token like that. So I will pass it in the props here, I will pass it in the movie details here, and I can pass it in the movie form here. So that means this token is available for each of them, and then we can replace that static one with the one we had it there. So as you can see here, we have that token. So this time I can basically use the same thing as we've done it here. I'm kind of moving a lot of things around, but this is what we want to use in our movie list. So I will use this like that, but this time it's not going to be state, it will be props, because we pass it in the props. So every place where we have it, use it like this. So movie list and then movie form, I will save it here. So movie form, we also have that token, so I will replace it with the token from the props this time, because I'm passing that down the road with the props. So I'm replacing this, and also I will need to do movie details, and that's also here and here. And by the way, there is a way to make it more compact. I'm kind of repeating a lot of stuff here, and there is a way that you can have it one central place and have all of that, like store headers, like headers will be everywhere the same, so there is no point to repeat that over and over again. It will be better to have it in one place and just reuse it, but I will try to have it as simple as possible, so I'm not going to do it, but go ahead and do it to optimize it. So basically we replace every token with our props token here, and we should expect that our application will work as it was before. Christian? And then I have a list of movies, so this is fine. I have this one. If I rate it, it's okay. If I edit this, for example, like that, it's working fine, and all of it's working. So each component kind of use the dynamic token we have. So we've set our cookies, like you can see here, and then we reuse it. And based on the condition, if we have this token or not, we manage also the URLs and the routing. So if you don't have that token, that means you are not logging, and if you are not logging, you need to go to the login page. Okay, so what we will do in the next video, we will finish our application. At the moment you can log in if you have an account, but if you don't have an account, then there is no way to log in. So we will enable also registration on in our system. Okay, let's go back to our login page here, and let's work on the registration now. At the moment we have only login, so what we can do is we can actually reuse a lot of things we already have in our login component, and we'll just alter a few things to handle both login and registration, because at this point the login and registration is exactly the same, so we need to have username and password. Of course, in the normal application you will need to have repeat password and then some email and other stuff like you will gather, but at this point what we need to do is only username and password. That's what we have in our API, and I will use it the same way as we've done it with the Postman and JSON. So basically what I will store is I will just change the some of the view. If it's, I can name it is login view, and then I will do true. So I will change, if login view is like that, then I will show a few things, otherwise I will show different things. So what we can do first is we can actually change this title. So what I will do is I will do conditional, our ternary operator. So this state is login view. Then if it's login view, then I will do login. I can put it like that. Otherwise, it will be register. And we have our ternary operator here. So if I will go here, you can see this is login, because at the moment we don't have anything that will change this state. So what we can do is I can have another paragraph here, and I can do on click, and I can do this toggle view. I need to wrap it in the curly brackets, curly braces. So toggle view, and then we don't need to accept anything here. We'll just toggle, so our function here, and I can do this set state, and I will set state of this value is login view. It will be this state is login view, but opposite. So whatever is there, I will do opposite like that. So I will save it, set it for opposite what it currently is, and it will have that kind of toggling. So I also need to come back here. So I have paragraph, and I can see do create account like that. So we'll have extra link here. So if I click it, you can see that's changing to register. What we also, if I will click it again, it's going back like that. So I kind of toggle this. What I also need to do, what I can do actually is having something like that here as well. So I will have it. If login view, then we'll have create account, and I can do back to login, or whatever information we'd like to have it there. So this time, if I go here, I will have create account, back to login, create account, back to login. Another thing what we can actually alter is this page here, login. So basically I could just recreate whatever I have here, and the button will change also as well based on the view we have. So login or register, you see this is login and this is register. Okay, the last thing what we need to do is to handle this call. So at the moment we have login here, but what we can also do here is a check. So if this state is login view, then we will do this, else we'll do something else. And then I will just grab this and I will put it, if it's login view, we'll use it as we've done before, else we'll do a different call. And what we'll need to do here, so basically this needs to be different. Whenever we try to create our user, we need to use API and then /users, like that. Also post and then application JSON, and then we'll do the credentials the same way as we've done it before. Then we convert it to JSON, and then once we have that res, what we can do is actually we can change the state. So I will come back to the, when we have that register, I will come back to the login. So I can say this login view true, like that. So if we are in the login, then we'll do login as we've done before. If we are not, that means we are on register, so we'll send our credentials, which is username and password, to create a user, API users, and then post, and then stringify it here. So we go like that, and then we have login, and then I will create account. Let's say I would like to create test1, and then I will do test1. If I will register now, I have some internal server error for this one. If I click on this, I should be able to see some information here. So string object is not callable. I think it's something with our API. So permission of permission, self-permission classes. Okay, so the issue is with view. As you can see here, we have permission classes, but we don't have anything for user view set. So what we can do is we can copy that and we can put it here, but this time it's not is authenticated will be this. We can do allow any, like this. If I will save it now, let's try to do the same thing again. So test1, I will clear the current one, and we have our users here, and you can see here we switch to login automatically. So I will just double check this. So this is API users created 201. This is what we sent, username and password, and response was a username with ID 4 has been created and username is test1. So we already have that here, and I switch to login, but you can see username and password already stays. So what I can do is I can log in, and I might log in as a new user, and my token is stored as this user. And if I will go Titanic, and Titanic at the moment has just one rate, if I will rate it here with a different user, I'm expecting that will be 2 here. And in fact there is 2. So if I do 1, there will be 2.5 or something like that. So then I can do avatar here. There is 0 votes. I can do it 1 as well. So we can see here we've created the fully functional application with a backend in Django, and we could have everything in sync. So whatever we need to provide more information for our end application, we can add it to our API. We can do calculations on the, or some functions on the API, and provide it to the front end client, and then we can do some other things on the client side as well. It's all about the balance. What would you like to do and how would you like to do it? But this is the way how you can actually exchange some information. We've done all of it. So we've done get methods and list methods, we've done the delete, we've done the post, we've done the put. All of them we tested, we know how to use it, we know how to connect our API with our front end. So I hope that was a very valuable lesson for you, and you've learned a lot. I know there is a lot more you can do it, but at least this is a good starting point, and based on these examples you can see clearly how to create an application fully full stack application and how you can progress it with some your ideas.